whether I should go through this written speech or I should cover what Paul said. What is your choice? Me, I used to be an instructor. Public speaking is not a problem. Which one do you choose? Both. Okay. Because I told him become longer. He has asked a very good questions, but there's also an element of ignorance on his side. Some of the questions, they are based on ignorance. Some of the questions are based on facts. As a commission, we have challenges, we have gains. Unfortunately, the media, the way I look at it, because I'm now 2 years old since I joined the commission, the media has been busy looking for anti-corruption celebrities rather than anti-corruption fighters. And that is why you find ESCC. I'll give a good example. There was a day I watched a talk show, 1 hour talk show on graft, the situation, the corruption in Kenya. It was being aired by a very, very prominent TV station. They were interviewing the DPP on the state of corruption in the country. And to my surprise, I was shocked for 60 minutes, including the advert. That particular journalist never uttered a word ESCC. He never uttered a word. Accidentally, he never mentioned the word ESCC. Never. And that is why I have a case with you people as a CEO. And they mentioned other agencies, I don't want to mention names, and they talked about those agencies. But I want to tell you, I keep on insisting. I am from the military, that is my background. I served in the army for 16 years, from the age of 18 to 34 years. And that's why you find sometimes my character is so military, because that is how I was socialized. And in the military, we don't talk about perception. We talk about facts. And I want to task you, as I answer Paul, I want to task you as journalists, you go out there, go and ask the DPP, those corruption files you have, what percentage are from ESCC? If he tells you those from ESCC are 90%, 10% are from other organizations, I will resign. Over 95% of corruption cases filed with the DPP are from ESCC. So you see a journalist having a talk show in a very, very respected media house. For 1 clean hour, he does not utter the word ESCC. How do we feel as ESCC staff? How? Do you expect us to be very cooperative? We shy away from you people. If we give a journalist very important information about a certain hotel for coverage, the next day, hiyo article inatoka zile cutting zile za kando kando zinaitwa nini? How do you call them, journalists? Hiyo kunatoka kuna ad madam inatoka toka maji mingi. Yeah? Readers. Inaitwa kama hiyo. Then I was wondering what is happening. This is so good. I give it to another journalist of a media house. The second day is a headline in that media house. I'm an intelligence officer. When I check, you see how corruption is? It's within the entire society. It is spread. You are not spared, we are not spared. You argue that our officers are corrupt. And I want to be very clear about this matter. There are 3 aspects when it comes to accusation of corruption to the ESCC. 1, there are a lot of conmen out there with even business cards purporting to be investigators from ESCC. They are so smart that they will even write you, they will even call you and ask you, can we meet at Sarova? When you meet at Sarova, they will even buy you lunch and they will tell you, sir, you know our ethics does not allow us to be bought lunch, we shall pay ourselves. And they're conmen. And you talk with money. Yeah? I'm told of a senior guy that has been charged, who made noise that he has realized he was conned after parting money. Then we have another aspect of it. We have backlog. EACC is overstretched. We have the capacity, but we're overstretched. And I've talked about it when I was being vetted. You have talked about a case in Britain taking I don't know how many months. The Serious Fraud Office, I've been there. The Serious Fraud Office has got a threshold of cases that it handles on corruption. Our act says, even that cousin of mine in Kilifi, if he complains of a bribe of 500 shillings, I must investigate and I must close the file and submit it to the DPP. Is it viable? A complaint from Lamu, somebody has taken 1,000 shillings. I need to take 2 or 3 investigators. We don't do investigation using one person because he can be compromised or he can be accused of being compromised. So we tell them, on your writing statement when you're investigating, must be 2 and above. Would you pay these guys per DM or book them jumbo jet per DM to go and investigate a case of 1,000 shillings? We get about 3,500 cases per year. 3,500 cases. Paul has talked of why is Chicken Gate still not have been dealt with. I said there was an element of ignorance on his side. How Chicken Gate is in court. When we are talking of delays, we can do nothing. We have arrested governors. By the way, if today I'm dropped as the CEO of EACC, there's one thing that I'll be very proud of. I've made history. In 2 weeks, I arrested 3 governors. In 2 weeks. I don't know if there'll be any cost. I don't know. Maybe there'll be somebody who will come more aggressive than me. But I can tell you, I arrested 3 governors in 2 weeks. There are 9 governors charged. There are more governors in trouble. Yeah? Because the problem in this country is that most of these governors are not accountable. It is just like a chemistry activity series. Potassium up to gold, the least reactive. So most of them are like that. You have the super cooks and it goes down like that. So quite a number of them, we are investigating them. But people are forgetting, it is a process. When I joined the commission, I saw a lot of petition. As you remember, we petition and appeared before the Senate about Lake Basin Development Authority. It took about 4 years to investigate that case. Because you can do an investigation and the case remains just 50% of it. I mean, only 5% of it. The lawyers tell you, if you don't get this document, this case is not going anywhere. Corruption cases, they collapse not because people are not guilty or guilty. The defense lawyers look for technicalities. Are we together? They look for technicalities. And that is where you lose the case. So when the lawyers in EACC tells you, this case, without this document, you are going nowhere, what do? EACC, we don't rush people to court. We have facts. We get facts. I have over 90 lawyers. My forensic investigation department has got about 30 officers, young officers who are CPA Kenya. So we look at things critically. When we tell you there's a problem with you, start going to church daily or the mosque. I'm not watching, we'll get you. Because these young people, young men and girls, ladies, they will look into each and everything and they will get something out of you. We have the capacity, we have trained, but we're overstretched. We have challenges. We have the issue when people say, there's a process. When I'm done with the file, I take it to the DPP. The DPP looks at the file, he also is overwhelmed. In fact, he has really tried that. He has really improved in the number of prosecutors, the Nurdin. He has really tried. But you see, if I can quote him, he's supposed to deal with all cases, including Uchawi. All the cases, including witchcraft. So we need capacity building of the institutions. Are we together? We need capacity building. And then we look at issues to deal with other factors that contribute to the state of corruption in this country. Paul has just talked about equipment being inflated. How sure are you about these roads that have been constructed in the last 15 years? Do you know how much was inflated? Do you have the capacity as lawyers to know that? You don't know. So there are so many ways that corruption is practiced, but you need a lot of expertise. You need a lot of capacity. When you look at issues to deal with the wealth declaration, I'm running out from the speech here. If you look at the wealth declaration, where is the problem? Anybody who can guess? The problem started with the mutilation of the Chapter 6 of the Constitution. Who did that? Parliament. Who elected the parliamentarians? Yeah. It's the parliament that clipped the Chapter 6 of the Constitution. The initial draft was, but it's a problem. When we complain governors are stealing or they are not accountable, are these governors nominated or elected? Yes, I don't want to talk the personality of some of them. You know them. Yeah? But they were elected by citizens. How do we counter that? So it's a cycle that you need to look at the political culture. And I can tell you, we are going to the next election in the next 2 years. Now people will really look on how to steal. Because they say globally, if you look at a country like Japan, on many occasions you find the prime minister when he resigns. What would be the reason? Corruption scandal. Or health. Are they left because of health? The outgoing prime minister. But on many occasions, if you look at Korea, Taiwan, Singapore, Malaysia, most of these developed East Asian countries, you find that the leadership resigns because of corruption. The big question is that elections, during the elections, I keep on saying, how many of you have seen a political party going to the bank to take loan for campaign? In the world, have you seen a bank, a political party going to a bank? So we are going for election, we want $1 billion. But if you look at all over the world, how much money is being consumed for campaigns? Have you asked which is the source? American, they will say it's lobbying. Friends of Republicans, friends of Democrats. It's like that globally. But if you look deep, you'll find there are some things. So the political culture must change. Today, if you want to be an MCA, you want to be an MP, you have to risk one thing. You make it, or you do what? Completely. Unaweza toka Karen umalizikie hata kwa Ngware is better umalizikie Kayole ni mzuri umalizikie hapa inaitwa hapa Mathare North. You'll be completely broke. When you come back, you have to two things: how to recoup your money and how to fight the next battle. So the political culture needs to be addressed. When you talk of the issues to deal with the gains, the Constitution is one of the biggest weapons in the fight against corruption. And I've talked about the Chapter 6 of the Constitution. We hope that with the coming changes that are anticipated, whatever, I don't want to talk about politics, maybe it will be strengthened and it will assist a lot the Commission in the fight against corruption. When you talk of legislation, we have gaps. We have gaps. And it becomes very difficult, some of these things, especially vetting of staff. You know, you yourself here, you know each other. If I ask about one person here, 6 of you, and then I write, then I look at all what you have written, I'll be able to know whether I'm dealing with a crook, an imposter, somebody who is a go-getter, or somebody who is an introvert, and so I'll be able to get. Likewise, in the vetting, most of the time, our vetting system is not based on empirical measures. They are more of qualitative. And the problem with that is one, if we write as a commission that we hear this guy was in this organization, but alifanya blanda akatoka. Alifanya blanda akatoka. Once we write that they can take us to court. Was I convicted? Defamation. So you see the loophole. So in the course of that, you end up having some crooks getting the position of leadership. So we are talking of, we have challenges as a commission in terms of capacity. How do we address these issues? We have decided as a strategy to look at high impact cases. And the person who was trying to address me here, he was saying that we are leaving some people and leaving others. So if I can arrest 9 governors out of 47, and you're telling me I'm not working, if you want to reach here, you see, we have gains, we have done a lot. We get about 3,500 complaints as a commission, and because of that, since we know there's a capacity problem, we have decided to divide our strategy into the issue of high impact investigations. And as of now, this commission has concluded about 844 cases within a period of 5 years, and it takes time to do an investigation. We have 9 governors who are before court. The issue of them coming through revolving door of the commission and they are still moving around, it's a court process. It's a court process, and we are not living in mass, we are living on earth. Every Kenyan will tell you a court case in Kenya takes long. How long, roughly? We repossessed the meteorological land in South B, the 53 acres that we won about 2 months ago. That case was launched in 2009 when I was working with the Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission. I left the commission, I went to Kenyan 8.5 years. I have served almost 1.5 years in EACC, is when the ruling is coming out. And it's a civil case. We have over 350 pending cases before court, both criminal and civil recoveries. And they take time. And one of the biggest disadvantages of a case derailing in court is one. Witnesses. They die, they abort, they disappear, they get exhausted. And the law is very clear. You cannot force somebody to become a witness. What do you do? The case collapses. These are the challenges that we face. So Paul and the rest, it's not our wish to see these cases getting taking longer to be I mean for conviction of the state to go on. And I want to correct you. When you say EACC normally says we are not ready for the case. We have never complained that we are not ready. Maybe other agencies. But EACC, when we decide to charge you, we have everything. Am I wrong? Yeah, so Paul, I'm dismissing you on that. Sorry, I'm becoming too personal, but I'm dismissing you on that. I think next time when you come here, you do a lot of research before you come to this podium. So we are talking about a case like Lake Basin Development Authority. This is a case of about 1.5 billion shillings. We are making noise now saying, oh, KEMSA, this has happened, but we are not seeing the positive aspect of it. There was almost further contract of about how much? 9 billion. That was continued. When the media and the EACC highlighted, now here we are coming in partnership. Yeah? In fact, one newspaper had published about KEMSA, and they were shameless that the second day they had put an advert to dismiss what that newspaper wrote. This is how shameless crooks are. They had put an advert to say they dismissed. It was one of the newspapers that wrote about KEMSA. There was this and that and that. But in between, a lot of those letters of award were cancelled. So about 9 billion was not lost as a result of disruption. And unfortunately, the media does not look at disruption. The media looks at when thieves have stolen, they have money in their pockets, and when you arrest, they say, oh, this is a good boy, he has arrested. But that is being reactive. We want to be proactive. And you can see the media played a role in averting the loss of 9 billion in KEMSA. Although initially they pretended to be smart and aggressive, they had put advert and some figures, but it came to the attention of the public that there was something wrong going on in Kemsa, and 9 billion was saved. So what we are saying is that the media can partner with ESCC and other enforcement agencies to do a lot of sensitization, disruption, and when Churchill, the president, said that we are a closed society, sometimes we are scared of the media. Sometimes we are scared of the media. There was a time I was interviewed and I was asked, how many counties are you investigating? I said 4 counties. The next day, the headline of the newspaper was ESCC to arrest 4 governors. Sasa mimi nimesema we are investigating 4 counties. Headline, ESCC said is going to arrest 4 governors. But we understand, you know, you're in business and you want to make money. We understand that. But as a CEO, I'm very cautious sometimes because I say, how? What kind of money of TV? Headlines. I say we are investigating 4 counties. The headline in the morning, 4 governors to be arrested. So sometimes we also fear. And then investigations. We are very mean with information when investigations are ongoing. You give some sort of information, and then you hear a certain county, there is fire in the county office. Lakini hiyo moto ni very interesting. Hii moto imewaka hapa, procurement office, ikaruka ofisi ya health, ikaruka ofisi ya education, ikaenda kashika finance. How? Sabotage. So sometimes when we give you a lot of information, there is a problem of compromising or the criminals taking preventive measures on their side. So we have cases on recoveries as a commission. We also have, when you say that we are doing nothing, sometimes you don't have facts. Out of the 244 concluded cases of corruption, 153 have got conviction. I know the next question you'll ask me, the impact, how big? They take time. We have cases and they take time. So on the second strategy, we are looking at what Paul has talked about here, the asset tracing and asset recovery. And asset tracing and asset recovery can be achieved by what we call automation of government services. When you automate a lot, corruption automatically goes down. 20 years ago, if you want a passport, you have to go and queue at Nyara House. And you'll find maybe the receptionist or the accountant there is not around. As usual, then we will come at 4:30 and the queue is about 30 people. You have to give something for you to pay. Imagine you are bribing to pay. Nowadays with the e-citizen, those are things of the past. So we have to automate a lot. We have to automate our land registry. We have to automate, I don't want to talk about the Huduma number, but to me, I know the Americans, they have what we call the National Social Security number. That is everything about you. So when you commit a crime, if it is burglary, they come and get the fingerprinting. Fingerprints are automated. Wanaona pa walibu Mbarak, nani na walibu Hussein, let us zero on this file. When they zero the 5 people, they check hii moja ametoka Northeast, this incident imetokea Mombasa, huyu ni mtu wa Mombasa. They check your credit card. When did you do last transaction? Automation. They see ulikuwa nyali hapo kupitia mafuta. Wanasema this is the prime suspect. One day they arrest you. But here becomes a problem because automation is a problem. So when we automate a lot of systems, we'll address the issue of corruption. We are talking of gains of assets by the Commission. We have never gained in terms of monetary recovery a lot, but we have recovered a lot when it comes to land. If you remember very well, there was a time in this country whereby land grabbing was being glorified. So most of this land we are now trying to reclaim. We are having several court cases. We have reclaimed about 1,500 acres of land in Delamere. We have reclaimed the Woodley Estate. Again, the Woodley Estate, the case was filed in 2009. It was concluded last year. Was it early this year? Last year. So you can see 11 years down the line, and this was not a criminal case, it was just a civil recovery. We are also trying to, as a commission, we are pursuing on how to recover 2.5 billion from different public officers that are having assets that cannot be explained properly. And then we are looking at the prevention. Now, I'll go back to KEMSA and other agencies. If I'm not wrong, I think we did a system review of KEMSA. The problem with system review is that the ESCC does system review, but we don't have power to enforce and take action if you don't abide by what they've recommended. And a classical example of this is the NYS 2. When NYS 1 happened, we sent officers, they did a system review, and we said the solution to NSIS is to become an autonomous government agency. But because people are not going to they refused. Then NYS 2 took place. Now they're implementing the recommendation of the ESCC. But it is a goodwill, it is a gentleman's agreement, it is not binding. So we need laws that will bind us. When we do system review, you have to abide by that. Today, counties, I am dealing with a case in one county, the governor appointed, what do you call them, chief secretary, so what? Is the name for them? This is the C. Yes. The requirement is a degree. You go and appoint somebody with a diploma clearing and forwarding. Huh? So the impunity by the governors must be addressed. I am told some of them have got even termination letters for their senior officers. If you don't toe the line, they can sack you arbitrarily. And nobody can do anything. Yeah. The governors are mini sultans. They are mini kings. If he doesn't like you by face, he can sack you. You go home. They give their staff contracts. So those are some of the things that need to be addressed. Devolution is a very good concept. But instead of devolution for development, the priority has been devolution for corruption. Are we together? So we need to streamline a lot of systems rather than making a lot of noise. We can make noise. I don't mean that journalists should not write. You are doing a very good job. I interact with foreign dignitaries in this country, and they talk good about the media. They say Kenya is one of the very few countries in Africa where the media is very vibrant. So, yeah, you are doing a very good job. You are doing a very good job. They acknowledge. Even I went to the World Bank, and one of the things they talk positive about Kenya is about the media. They say the media in Kenya is very vibrant. Yeah? I'm not credit. But usually, so when we are looking at proactive investigation in the disruption, it cannot be done by ESCC alone. It will be done with the cooperation of the public and the media. You cannot exclude the media. Yeah? So we are talking of system reviews, we are talking of verification of persons seeking appointments in public office. Today, I saw a big article on a certain guy who had forged his age by one of the local papers. From the introduction to the last, I never saw the word ESCC. And we are the ones who got him. Yeah? So unfortunately, we are not graft celebrities. The media say, Kaini Kando, we have graft celebrities. When they do something small, you find the headline, boom! Yes. So, a big article, it is in the Standard. Very big article about that guy of character. Yes? We are the ones who unearthed all those things. But Standard never wrote to ESCC. Hata mahali tu accidentally yule jamaa anapiga andike to ESCC by accident. Yeah. We address a lot of impunity in the public offices. When people are employed unethically, we write and say we want an explanation. When somebody is charged and is a head of a parastatal or a chairman, we write to the minister immediately. Can you suspend this guy? So we have a long way to fight corruption in this country. We've talked about the perception index. We have said we are from 143, I don't know, to 138. Still, it's not the best. We want at least to slide to the 2 digits, to talk 800 and above. We are still not, we are not doing very well, but we are trying. And we are talking of also anti-corruption activities and programs. I have never seen anybody from the big media houses to come and say, we want to see what you do in prevention. Because you say one of the mandates is prevention, but we don't know what you're doing. So we are telling you, we are open to criticism, we are open to that building. You can even plan, you come and visit from the top. The MPs did that. When there was this issue of how was this building acquired. They started from the top, my office, and they admired my office. Then we went all the way to the basement. So now this is the building that we are saying that it was built without a title. This is the building. So sometimes we are to blame. Maybe we are becoming too restrictive, but also sometimes also the media becomes too, I don't want to use the word hostile, but I've given you the example there. Standard, that article here, that 1 hour TV program where the DPP was being interviewed, and a very prominent journalist, I could not believe, he started all the way mentioning corruption celebrities, and ESCC was just sidelined. So, what are the challenges that we are facing as a commission? We have several challenges. I don't believe in reading as if I'm an imam or a pastor. The commission is facing a lot of challenges. First of all, the capacity. He's telling me 5 minutes. We are about 720 people cutting across the country. We have 11 offices in the regions. We have budget problem. Our budget is 3 billion. 70% of that budget goes to the recurrent expenditure, mishahara, whatever. Only 30% goes to the mandate, that is investigation, prevention, and education. And out of the 3, 70% goes to investigation. You have to book the investigators per DM. You have to take them they have to take an air ticket. Some of the cases you have mentioned, like the one of the mess scandal, our officers had to go to South Africa. When the Zulus were coming to give evidence, you have to book them in hotels and all those things. And sometimes you can be told, some say you are bribing. Why did you book him in our hotels? That's how So we have a lot of challenges in terms of that. We have high staff turnover. If you look at the legal officers, to date, 13 High Court judges came from the Anti-Corruption Commission, including Fatuma Sichale, Smoky Wanjala, and quite a number of them. So our officers are very marketable. The officers who have done investigation causes with the FBI, with the Serious Fraud Office, with the Hong Kong Independent Anti-Corruption Commission. These are young people, under 45, and they are pushed by big banks. The head of the World Bank, in terms of governance, in charge of Sub-Saharan Africa, we are very proud. He used to be our staff. He was poached. So, when you say we are overpaid, I want to tell you one of the problems we have with the high staff turnover. Then we have the political system. Sometimes when you arrest a governor or a personality, you are told by these people from the political side, they say, umetumwa na serikali. When you go this side, people say, oh, this CEO is anti-government. But we are used to those kind of noises because we have to agree on one thing. Corruption and politics, they are very much what? Yeah. Because corruption and politics is all about power. And we are saying that when you give people responsibility, minus accountability, the end result is corruption. So I would like to thank you, and I look forward maybe in future we'll have more of these kind of meetings. We have no problem. Paul, where are you? Paul, what? I'm a broker. I'll be a Paul, you can make an effort to come and see me, we can discuss issues. I am very free. And I believe constructive criticism will help a lot in the commission. We are not against the media, but we have also now been able to vent our concerns. Sometimes we feel mnatukalia sana as PSCC. But from today, Paul, I was saying that from here, make an effort to come and see me in the office. Tomorrow. I'll come tomorrow. Okay. It is important because, by the way, I have some journalists that I know one-to-one. And sometimes we tunagongana kabisa. Wanapenda kafanya hii madangani. Hata napiga simu. You know, I read newspaper at 4:30 in the morning. I wake up at 4. I usually sleep at midnight, 12. And by 4 o'clock I'm awake. I sleep for 4 hours. And I never doze in any meeting. This is that's how I was set in the military. And it is now in my blood. So with those many remarks and accusation and counter-accusation, I come to the end of this presentation. I don't know what is the next stage. Should I go and sit or should I take questions?
Wasn't that fire? I would actually like to be a fly on the wall and put Paul and the CEO in one room and see what happens. But that was good. Now, in the interest of time, please, in the interest of time, we will do 2 rounds of 3 questions only, please. And by the CEO, Paul is representative of all these journalists here. He's not alone. So, Aduda has a mic here, Sam has a mic there, and there's another mic here. Who will go first? We'll take 3, and then no questions. Or anyone, even officers who came with the commissioners and Mr. Tony can ask a question of the media. Or even a comment, whatever. We are very democratic, as you can see from us. So, questions, hands up. You say your name, the organization you represent, and brief, please.
My name is David McCarthy. When I see you, you know we've been in touch at some point on a matter that I don't want to discuss. I'm waiting for response. But you know, it's good that you say a lot of investigations will take a long time. Shouldn't you be looking at perhaps statutory limitations on how long these cases should be taking? And 2, in view of the challenges that you just listed, many recommendations for legal interventions, legislation to protect you from those challenges that you're facing. Alafu hiyo ingine tutakuona kama.
We had planned around 3.
Good afternoon, Emmanuel Juma NTV. But actually, maybe you could give us an update of where we are with this KEMSA Manenos. Yesterday, the AG spoke. They said there are several files that have now gone to the DPP. This, I believe, came from you. Maybe you can hear it from the horse's mouth. Give us an update.
I am being told we are not complying with the gender rule. So if we can have questions from the other gender, if it is not there, we will tell the CJ to advise.
Thank you very much for those good remarks. I have worked in government for a very long time, and one of the things I have learned informally is that the media has an interest in certain things and not others. And I remember my CEO had just mentioned the issue of prevention and of course ethics and leadership. And I would like to know whether that is true, that they are not interested in those things. There was a time I worked for the ICT authority and I was in charge of governance for the project TCAP. And I ran a forum for for governance for most CEOs. And when I called the media, I was told that's not very interesting. So I would like to hear whether
So, yeah, yes.
You know, me, I'm fit. I'm 55. I celebrated my 55th birthday last month. I want to give you a brief story about David McCarthy. David McCarthy was a dissident journalist in the People Daily those days. And he used to write very, very hot articles, so I know you very well. One article, there was a time I remember you were, I know you very well. So when you text me and say, I'm David McCarthy, I can see you. So, you see, capacity is a very big problem in many organizations in the South. If you go to our hospitals, they are overstretched. If you go to the police, they will tell you we are overstretched. If you go to the judiciary, they will tell you we are overstretched. If you go to schools, and that is why in this country, you get an A-, but you cannot do medicine as a regular student. And the A- is very good, because every place in this country is overstretched. I am not an expert in economics. I just know about the gun, but using my common sense is that if you look at this country in the last 30 years, the population has actually spiraled. It is helping us now with COVID, because one of the reasons they say Africa has not been hit hard by the COVID is because of the youthful population. It has worked for us as opposed to so what is happening when David asked about what mechanism can we put to address all these pending cases? We have to amend the law. Even if we investigate, it's impossible. We are getting 3,500 cases. I have visited the Serious Fraud Office in London and the National Crime Agency of the UK. I've been to Hong Kong. I've trained with the FBI. I've been there. The anti-corruption unit. They have a threshold of what constitutes a corruption case. Here, police control barabarani is supposed to be dealt with the police themselves. Unfortunately, you know what goes on. So what we are saying, if we amend and say cases, I read in one of the newspapers today, I don't know whether it is true or not, that part of the recommendation of the BPI is to have ESCC deal with only corruption and economic crimes. The issue of ethics, education will be moved to the National Commission for the NCIC intervention. So if that will happen, if that will happen, and amend the law, or what would be the threshold of economic crimes and corruption, with the expansion of the organization. But there is no point of expanding the ESCC and you don't expand the DPP. Are we together? Because at the end of the day, my cases will go and get clogged where? With the DPP. So we have to look at how to enhance, how to expand the DPP or DPP, how to expand ESCC, and how to fund the judiciary. If one of those is stopped, it's a problem. Today when we say the slow judicial process is a setback to fighting corruption, the next day now, the journalist. Judiciary is the weakest link in fighting corruption. I've just said the slow court process. And I've said, when the court process is very slow, witnesses want to disappear, they burn out, some they die. Do you know the oldest corruption case in Kenya that is still in court? It started when I was a bachelor. Maybe soon I'll become a grandfather. Aijamalizika, Goldenberg nation. No. Is Goldenberg a done case? No. District court. Ilianza 93 when I was a bachelor. He started when I was a captain in the army. Huh? 27 years down the line, do you expect to have the witnesses? Where are they? You get the point? So we must address the strengthening of all the institutions, not one. That is how we shall address the cases. The second case that I was asked was about Kemsa. You know, when you are planning a battle, you don't tell the enemy what you are planning. So I'm looking at a military perspective. It would be very bad for me to start talking about what Kemsa, oh, this and that and that. The AG, who is the chairman of MAT, we coordinated, and he gave the statement yesterday. So I think what the AG gave is more than enough. What the AG gave is the authoritative position of the EACC, and he took it as the head of MAT. So Emmanuel Juma, my apology. I'm not running away from that question. Which other question? Or anybody? There was one, but maybe any other question?
Yeah, I'd like to call upon Rosemary Obala, who holds two hats. She's both a member of the board of at least the Media Council of Kenya and a practicing journalist.
You know, don't tell me about Rosie. When after being vetted, she was the first person to confront me with questions. And I told her I'm rushing to the mosque. But already people had prayed and I took off.
Okay, Rosie.
Good afternoon. I have two questions. One, you've talked about the deficit in budget, that you said that you get 3 billion. So maybe how much do you expect that the government should allocate EACC to be able to deal with the cases you have? And then the second issue is about procurement. You remember there was an issue and there were the proposed amendments that were sent to Parliament, but set aside based on the AG's advice. Let me just address the two.
Okay. That's a very good question. How much is enough? There's a danger of what you say, I don't have enough money. And maybe tomorrow you hear the government says, we are adding you 3 billion more in your budget. What problems are you foreseeing? If you've done management or whatever, what problem are you foreseeing? Huh? If you're given the money, you say, out of this, now you are given 6 billion. Out of the 6 billion, 1 billion employ new staff. Where's the office space? So there are a lot of issues that you can address. When you talk of the budget, I'm not talking of the money to run the organization. I'm talking of even putting an office space. Because like where we are there, with the yellow house, we have the parking. That place, according to architect, in fact, according to the original plan of Trade Bank, there was a drawing there for a 16-story building. So maybe we require an expansion of the office space, capacity, recruitment process, because there's always a tendency where you are given a free hand to just recruit. What happened? Huh? Out of every 3 people you recruit, relative yours in kawaida yenu, kabila, political, what we are saying, there are other things that that come with budget, capacity. There's also a danger of, when you are undergoing a major transition, you are from big media houses. If you don't mind the transition or the growth, sudden growth, you create discontent. And there will be internal struggle. So there are many things that we require. We are looking at gradual. If you can be given money for office space and address the issue of the salaries, expansion in the regions, because we have a very big problem. I'll give you a good example. Mombasa office, how many investigators do you have? You have 7 investigators covering Tana River, Mombasa, and Kwale. And you know the counties, it's just theft and theft and theft. So 7 officers. But when you say that you want to increase, most of our officers in the regions are rented. they are not our, it's not our buildings. Because ESCC is the corruption is something came after the 2003, yeah? But generally when multi-party started, there was a semblance of anti-corruption moves. So that is the first question, and the other one that you asked closely is about the proclamation. What is your question? And I put a disclaimer, I'm not a lawyer.
Yes, I asked you because there were proposals that had been made to Parliament, and the AG requested that they be set aside, so they've been set aside. So what is next? Because some of the proposed amendments were to address the issue of fighting corruption.
The AG is our chairman of MAT, and we're in discussion with him that those recommendations are taken back to Parliament. There are quite a number of recommendations in terms of the issue of asset recovery, conflict of interest, many gaps that we find in the daily course of our work, that we need some sort of, some of the laws in ASECA, that is for 2003, they are not compatible with the current constitution, if I'm not wrong. So those are some of the things. You know, when you go to court and you are challenged by the lawyers, is when you realize there are some things that you need to tighten. Are we done? Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Pamela Sitoni from Nation Media Group and then Kenya Editors Guild. I ask a very selfish question. You wrote to the Council of Governors chair, Mr. Oparanya, telling him to withdraw that decision to cancel advertising to Nation Media Group.
Yes.
I'd like to know what has happened since that letter and what you plan to do if he does not resign the decision. And then I have a second question. I'd like you to tell us what's been your most challenging case since you took office?
Okay, your first question, can I hit you back on that?
Yes.
Your Friday columnist, Mutuma Matthew, wrote about that on Friday, about why the governors are misbehaving and all that. Ironically, Mutuma never mentioned ESCC. He glorified other people. And we are the ones who wrote the governors that you do anything to the Nation Media Group and other media houses, you will know. Mutuma puts an article complete. And I normally read his articles. You know, when I criticize you as a columnist, you should give me credit that I read your articles. Because you don't criticize something you don't read. Which means I like your articles. So Mutuma wrote, he said kudos to so and so, kudos to, I mentioned, and he said, and other law enforcement, and other anti-graft agencies. So ESCC is under others anti-graft agencies. And we are the ones who wrote that letter to the governors. So you can see the way the media is so unfair to us. But then, we are taking action. We are handling a case in Bungoma where the county wrote an internal memo that they should stop doing business with the nation. And we are investigating that case. So we are handling and we are really monitoring. And we want the journalists, if you see there is a pattern from Nakaliwa, walk to our office, we'll assist you. Yeah, because that is now trying to use some sort of intimidation to put you off from your daily work, and you are there to report all these things. The next challenge is what?
What's been your most challenging case
In
this office?
can you do a guess work, and then I'll tell you yes or no. No guess work. The most challenging case I had was against one key personality who we were told is untouchable, and nobody can go near him. And I managed to do something.
Don't mention.
I don't mention names. I don't want it to be a headline tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I'm just use your brain, try to be analytical. I know journalists are very analytical. You will know who I'm talking about. Yes. I can say I confronted untouchable governors. I was even asked by my friends, would you be able to deal with these people? I said, you give me time.
That's a problem.
You will know that I'm a man who came across 2 lions, in Samburu and I never took off when I was in the army. So I managed.
But our lands don't need to be built.
You are hapo karibu na Achas. So, but ujue mimi ni Mswahili sijaona Simba. Tunapaka. So I think confronting governors in their what you call impunity has been one of my biggest daunting tasks. And you may not know, there is a big improvement now. I'm not saying they are very clean, but somehow they are towing the line. Because they know they'll be picked. If we get something, we pick them. And nowadays, once you are charged, you are out of office. So that is one of the most daunting tasks. But I can tell you the office is very demanding. When you go into that office, even your social life, I can no longer go in any swimming pool and start swimming with my guitar. So it's a tasking job, and it's not only tasking to me, but even the investigators. The investigators in anti-corruption, they are really overstretched. We have many backlog, sensitive cases, and at the end of the day, when you charge somebody, that guy will go and get lawyers. So you cannot afford to have a half-baked cases. That's what I'm telling you. You have to look at who are the real guys fighting corruption, not anti-corruption celebrities.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm sorry, in the interest of time. What we will do is we'll have the Vice President respond to a comment by Commissioner Ngoi, and then Mr. Philip Kagusia, if you're here, prepared to give a vote of thanks on behalf of PSCC.
A quick one. Kagusia, Kagusia is the head of corporate communication, ESCC. He is a lawyer by profession. I was encountered by some journalists how come that I'm picking a lawyer. And I told them that in the ESCC, from the position of an assistant director and above, is more of a policy position and strategy rather than being a technical person. So if you have any issues, that is the man you can get in touch. We are very open to the media. We have no hatred. We have vomited what we wanted to vomit. You vomited what you wanted to vomit. We have no ill feeling. We have no ill feeling because we know we cannot do without you. So,
thank you so much. I'm informed that the CEO is with senior officers, technical people who have some of the answers. So this is not over. You can approach them after this. But the Vice President.
Commissioner Rose, I think the most important thing is to understand all stories are important to the news editors and the journalists here. But the space we have in broadcasting industry and the space we have in the newspapers can only fit the number of stories. When you're given 1 hour to run your bulletin on TV and you have about 50 stories, some have to die. By the way, one of the main work of an editor is to kill stories. And we don't have explanation. We don't owe anyone explanation why we keep stories. We kill. We have a dustbin next to you that spike and kill. But what we look, number one, at the interest of the public to the story and how close is the story to the bigger population. So when you are dealing with a story that affects about 10 people and a story that affects 1,000 people, you kill this one for 10 people and publicize the one for 1,000 people. Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll now have a vote of thanks by Mr. Kagusia, and then Mary, and you are free to leave at your pleasure.
All right. I think we have come towards the end of our Kusha, please mount council. So go pay power.
Can I do it from here? Is this okay?
Don't fear power.
So I've been asked to do this vote of thanks, so I will do it on behalf of EACC. I would like to thank our partners because we couldn't have done this without you. On the chair, Churchill. We've had a lot of back and forth with the CEO, Rosalia. I don't know if I can see Rosalia. Yeah, so there have been a flurry of emails going back and forth until we came to this event. And I'd like to thank you also, members of this Editors Guild, for making this possible. We were really looking forward to this opportunity. We have ventilated. You guys have also ventilated. I heard Mr. Bonaparte has a lot to say. And now that you know where we are, please come and see us. On the part of VACC, I'd like to thank the chair, who was ably represented by Vice, Madam Sophia Nabishirit. We have our CEO present. Thank you for, as you had, ilikuwa ni moto, it was fire. That is exactly what we were expecting. We also have the people who have been described as the technical people that are around. We have a number of directors here. We have the Director of Investigations, Director Legal, Director Field Services, Director Preventive, Director Ethics, and a few other managers. As you've been told, if you have a question or two for them, they are available for you immediately after this, or exchange cards and you can get in touch with them. You know all these things, we have to give thanks to God because without His blessings, without His guidance, we could never do. So we must express our gratitude to the Almighty. And with those few remarks, thank you everyone. I would like to now hand over to Mary to do the vote of thanks on behalf of Ken. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure for me to deliver a vote of thanks on behalf of KED. I would like first to thank our guest of honor, Tuale Mubarak, the CEO of Ethics and Corruption Commission. I also would like to thank Madam Chirit, the name is mouthful, and the entire EACC team for finding to come and be with us. I also want to thank you, EACC, for the partnership with KED, and I pray that this partnership continues. It should not end here, because I think when we partner and work together, we are actually going to move forward the war on corruption. We know that corruption is a big problem in this country, and our partnership is very important because when we know something, we expose and guide you how to get there. And when you do something, we also tell the public what you're doing. I would like to thank all the invited guests for finding time to join us. Thank you, each and every member of the Kenya Editors Guild, for finding time to come for this press club. I also want to thank the CARE Programs Officer and Programs Team Committee, plus the Secretariat for organizing this event. I believe that everyone is very happy to have participated today because of the conversation we had today. Thank you, members of the press, for providing coverage for this event. And thank you everyone who has attended today. God bless you as we leave, hoping to meet again. Thank you.
It's okay. Thank you.